It was an ordinary Tuesday morning when every screen on Earth suddenly flickered to life. Television sets, computers, smartphones, and even digital billboards in Times Square all displayed the same image: a purple-skinned alien in what appeared to be a military uniform adorned with too many medals to count. The creature cleared its throat, or whatever passed for one, and began speaking in slightly robotic English. "People of Earth, I am Supreme Commander Anderson of the Galactic Federation." The name clearly chosen from their limited understanding of human culture. "We have observed your primitive civilization and determined you to be unworthy of continued independent existence. The Galactic Federation hereby declares war on the planet known as Earth. Your surrender is expected within one standard rotation of your planet. Failure to comply will result in your complete annihilation." For exactly 3 seconds, there was total silence across the globe. Then someone in a coffee shop in Seattle snorted their latte through their nose, and the spell was broken. The laughter started slowly at first, but it spread like wildfire across the planet. Security camera footage from that day would later show people doubled over in their offices, soldiers falling out of their chairs in military bases, and even typically stoic news anchors breaking down in fits of giggles on live television. In the Pentagon, General Mike Thompson tried desperately to maintain his composure during an emergency meeting. He had to pause the alien's message 3 times because his staff couldn't stop laughing. The creature's attempt at a menacing pose was undermined by what appeared to be a cape made from something suspiciously similar to aluminum foil. "Sir," his aide managed between chuckles, Should we respond?" Thompson wiped tears from his eyes. "Give me a minute. I need to catch my breath." The United Nations Security Council meeting wasn't faring much better. The Russian representative had to be given a paper bag to breathe into, not from fear, but from laughing so hard he was hyperventilating. The British ambassador had removed her glasses to wipe her eyes for the 5th time, and the usually serious German representative was slumped over the table, shoulders shaking with silent laughter. Social media exploded. Within hours, the alien's message had been remixed into thousands of memes. Someone added cartoon googly eyes to the Supreme Commander's face. Another person set the speech to dance music, and it went viral instantly. Late-night comedy shows scrambled to produce emergency episodes. The most popular video showed a group of military analysts watching the message. When the alien mentioned their superior weaponry, one of them paused the video and pointed out that what they thought was an advanced energy weapon was actually a modified pressure washer with LED lights glued to it. Dr. Lisa Jones, head of Earth's leading xenobiology department, published a rushed analysis that became an instant internet sensation. Based on the visible technology in their transmission, she wrote, "I can confidently say that their most advanced systems appear to be approximately equivalent to our technology from the 1940s. The Supreme Commander is transmitting from what appears to be a modified cargo ship, and those intimidating laser cannons behind him are quite clearly painted PVC pipes." By evening, the alien message had been translated into every known language, though most translations included annotations like, "Try not to laugh here," and "This is the best part coming up." The global stock market, after a brief morning dip, rallied to record highs as defense contractors' stocks soared, not because of fear, but because everyone wanted a piece of what was surely going to be the most entertaining military operation in human history. President Roberts of the United States tried 3 times to record a response to the alien threat. Each time, he broke down laughing. Finally, his speechwriters gave up and simply wrote, "Dear Supreme Commander Anderson, thank you for your message. Please stand by for our response. Also, we love the Cape." As night fell across different time zones, people organized viewing parties to watch the message again and again. Bars offered special Invasion Day discounts, and at least one nightclub had already designed a dance move called the Supreme Commander. The aliens had wanted to strike fear into the hearts of humanity. Instead, they had given Earth its first truly global inside joke. What they didn't know was that humans had already developed defenses against threats far more advanced than anything the Galactic Federation could muster. As one viral tweet put it, imagine traveling light years to threaten a species that considers nuclear weapons outdated and has automated defense systems that could swat their entire fleet like flies. Someone didn't do their homework. The real reason for humanity's laughter became clear the next day when Earth's military analysts finished their detailed examination of the alien transmission. What they discovered was both hilarious and almost endearing. The aliens had been monitoring Earth for the past 30 years, but they had made one crucial mistake. They had only been watching entertainment channels. More specifically, they had focused on reruns of old science fiction shows from the 1960s and B-grade monster movies, believing them to be actual documentaries about Earth's current technology. Dr. Tom Wilson, leading the analysis team at NASA, couldn't stop grinning as he presented his findings to the Joint Military Command. Their most advanced scanning technology, he explained, pointing to a grainy image, is basically a modified television antenna. They genuinely believe we're still using vacuum tubes and punch cards in our computers. The room erupted in fresh laughter when he showed close-up images of their spacecraft. What the aliens had proudly called their mighty warships were actually converted cargo vessels. The fearsome weapons they had threatened Earth with were cobbled together from spare parts that would have looked outdated in a World War I museum. "Look at this," Dr. Wilson said, zooming in on what the aliens had claimed was their planet-destroying laser cannon. It's literally a painted water pipe with Christmas lights wrapped around it. They stuck a bicycle reflector on the end to make it look scary. The Alien Federation's most advanced computer system, according to the analysis, had less processing power than an average smartphone. Their advanced shields were basically sheets of reinforced aluminum, and their fastest ships could barely achieve the speed Earth's spacecraft had reached in the 1970s. Military strategists were particularly amused by the aliens' combat tactics manual, which they had helpfully broadcast along with their threat. It detailed complex maneuvers for space warfare that Earth's military academies had already dismissed as impractical during the Cold War. "They think our greatest weapon is something called the Death Ray 3000. Explained General Thompson, now recovered from his laughing fit. "They got that from a 1958 science fiction movie. They're preparing countermeasures against weapons that never existed outside of Hollywood." The aliens had also completely missed Earth's actual technological advancement. They hadn't noticed the quantum computers, the fusion research facilities, or the automated defense systems that could track and neutralize threats faster than human thought. Their surveillance had been so focused on entertainment channels that they had missed every major scientific breakthrough of the past 50 years. Intelligence analyst Mark Baker discovered something even more amusing. The aliens had based their entire understanding of Earth's military capability on a low-budget sci-fi series called Space Defenders that had been canceled after one season due to poor special effects. They thought that cardboard spaceship was real, Baker explained, wiping tears from his eyes. They spent years developing defenses against foam rubber aliens and sparkler-powered ray guns. No wonder they think they can win. They're preparing to fight Captain Starman and his plastic phaser. The final piece of the puzzle came from the linguistics department. The aliens had learned English primarily from watching old monster movies and soap operas, which explained why their supreme commander had chosen such a stereotypical Earth name and why their threat sounded like it had been written by a B-movie scriptwriter. As Earth's leaders met to discuss how to respond, there was a growing sentiment that this wasn't just funny. It was an opportunity. These aliens, for all their misunderstanding, had managed to achieve space travel. They had built a federation of worlds, even if their technology was outdated by Earth's standards. "Maybe," suggested Dr. Wilson, "instead of just laughing at them, we should help them. Think about it. They crossed the galaxy in what's basically a space-worthy Model T. Imagine what they could achieve with actual modern technology." The suggestion was met with thoughtful nods. Earth had been looking for a way to make peaceful first contact with alien civilizations. Who would have thought it would come in the form of an admirably misinformed declaration of war? As one official put it, it's like being threatened by your little brother holding a toy sword. You don't want to fight them. You want to give them a hug and teach them how to play the game properly. 3 days after their declaration of war, the alien fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system. Their entrance was meant to be intimidating. 50 ships in a V formation, their engines glowing with what they thought was impressive power. To Earth's monitoring stations, they looked like a flock of awkward geese flying with sparklers attached to their tails. "They're broadcasting again," announced the communications officer at Space Command. Everyone quickly grabbed their coffee cups, having learned from experience not to drink during alien transmissions if they wanted to avoid spitting beverages across their monitors. Supreme Commander Anderson's face appeared on screen, somehow wearing even more medals than before. "Earthlings, behold our mighty armada. You have one last chance to surrender before we demonstrate our superior firepower." The response came from Admiral Robert White of the United Nations Space Defense Force. He managed to keep a straight face as he replied, "We acknowledge your presence, Supreme Commander. To demonstrate Earth's peaceful intentions, we will send a single vessel to greet you." The U.S. Montana, a standard Earth destroyer, detached from its lunar dock and headed toward the alien fleet. It was one of the older ships in Earth's Defense Force, chosen specifically because commanders worried that sending anything more advanced might actually frighten the aliens to death. As the Montana approached, the alien fleet erupted into chaos. Their sensors, primitive by Earth standards, couldn't properly process what they were seeing. To them, the destroyer's energy signature looked impossibly powerful, mainly because their equipment was about as sophisticated as a 1950s radio telescope. "Earth sends their superweapon." Supreme Commander Anderson's voice cracked with what he thought was triumph. "They dare to challenge us with their mightiest vessel." In the Montana's command center, Captain James Brown turned to his first officer. "Should we tell them this is just a regular destroyer?" "Let them have their moment, sir," the officer replied, struggling not to smile. The alien fleet launched their first attack, a barrage of what they called devastating space torpedoes. To the Montana's crew, it looked more like a fireworks display. The ship's automated defense system, not even operating at full capacity, casually swatted the incoming projectiles aside with its point defense lasers. "Enemy weapons neutralized," reported the Montana's AI in an almost bored tone. "Shall I return fire, Captain?" "No need," Brown replied. "Just activate the light show protocol." The Montana lit up its hull with a dazzling display of colors. Actually just its standard running lights, but to the aliens' outdated sensors, it appeared as an overwhelming show of power. The alien fleet panicked. Their ships scattered in different directions, several of them bumping into each other in their haste to retreat. Supreme Commander Anderson's voice came through again, this time significantly higher pitched. "The Earth vessel survived our mightiest weapons, and now it's powering up its... What is that?" "This is Captain Brown of the U.S. Montana," Brown transmitted, fighting to keep his voice level. "We're just running a diagnostic on our external lights. No weapons are being powered up." There was a long pause before Anderson replied. You mean that's not your super weapon charging?" "No, sir. Those are just our parking lights." Another long pause. And this isn't your most powerful ship?" "No, sir. This is actually one of our older vessels. We use it mainly for training exercises." The silence that followed was broken only by what sounded suspiciously like someone fainting on the alien command ship, followed by a muffled thud and several voices speaking in panicked alien language. A new voice came on, presumably Anderson's second-in-command. We request a temporary ceasefire to reassess our tactical situation." "Granted," Brown replied. "Would you like us to dim our lights? They seem to be causing some distress to your sensors." "Yes, please," came the weak reply. "And could you perhaps not tell anyone about this?" Brown looked at his crew, all of whom were biting their lips or covering their mouths to stay quiet. I'm afraid that might be difficult. The entire exchange is being lip-streamed on Earth's entertainment channels. You're already trending on something called TikTok. The alien transmission cut off abruptly, but not before picking up the sound of several more thuds. Following the disastrous first battle, the Alien Federation demanded an emergency diplomatic meeting. They still refused to believe they had completely misunderstood Earth's capabilities, convinced there must be some trick involved. The meeting was set to take place on a neutral space station, actually just an old Earth maintenance platform that was considered too outdated for regular use. To the aliens, however, it looked like an impossibly advanced facility. Earth's diplomatic team arrived in what they considered a basic shuttle. The alien representatives had to be revived with smelling salts after watching it dock perfectly without any visible thrusters, its gravity manipulation systems being far beyond their comprehension. "Welcome," said Earth's chief diplomat, David Miller, as the alien delegation entered the conference room. "We've prepared a short presentation to help clear up some misunderstandings." Supreme Commander Anderson, looking significantly less confident without his collection of medals, sat down with his advisors. Their chairs, equipped with standard auto-adjust features, caused another minor panic when they automatically conformed to alien body shapes. "First," Miller began, "let's address your primary concern. You believe we are hiding our true military capability. You're absolutely right, but not in the way you think." The first slide showed the U.S. Montana. "This vessel that frightened your fleet. It's so outdated that my daughter's school takes field trips to see it as a historical example." Anderson's face turned a deeper shade of purple. "Impossible. Our sensors detected energy readings that would power an entire planet." "Ah, yes." Miller clicked to the next slide. "Your sensors were registering our ship's secondary backup coffee maker. We do take our caffeine seriously." The presentation continued, showing Earth's actual current technology level. The aliens watched in growing horror as they realized their most advanced weapons wouldn't even register as threats to Earth's automated defense systems. "And this," Miller said, displaying an image of a standard Earth personal device, "is what we give to our children to play games on. It has more computing power than your entire fleet's combined systems." An alien scientist in the delegation stood up suddenly. But we watched your transmissions. We saw your battles with alien invaders. Your weapons were similar to ours." Miller paused the presentation. "Those were movies, entertainment, fiction, like your children's stories, but with visual effects." "You mean Space Defenders wasn't a documentary?" The scientist's voice was barely a whisper. "No. In fact, it was canceled because people thought the special effects looked too fake." The alien admiral who had fainted during the Montana incident raised a trembling hand. "So when we saw humans fighting with laser swords, a movie series, very popular but completely fictional, and the invasion of New York by creatures from another dimension, also a movie, though the hot dog stand they destroyed in that scene was real, caused quite a controversy with local food vendors." Supreme Commander Anderson had been growing progressively more deflated throughout the presentation. But why did you let us declare war? Why didn't you just destroy us?" Miller smiled kindly. "Because that's not what we do. Earth has learned from its own history that technological superiority doesn't give us the right to destroy others. Besides, you managed to achieve space travel with technology that we consider antique. That's actually quite impressive." The aliens huddled together, whispering frantically in their own language. Finally, Anderson turned back to the Earth delegation. "We may have made a slight error in judgment. It happens to the best of us," Miller assured him. "Now, would you be interested in seeing what we can achieve together instead of fighting?" Before Anderson could reply, one of his aides whispered something in his ear. The Supreme Commander's face shifted to an even darker purple. "You mean to tell me that video of our war declaration has become something called a meme?" "Oh yes," Miller said cheerfully. "My personal favorite. is the one where they replaced all your medals with pictures of cute Earth animals. The one with the kittens has over 2 billion views. Anderson slumped in his self-adjusting chair. Perhaps we should discuss this cooperation proposal of yours. Excellent. But first, would anyone like some coffee from our planet-powering coffee maker? The entire alien delegation fainted simultaneously, their chairs smoothly reclining to prevent injury. Miller looked at his team and shrugged. Maybe we should start with something simpler. Tea, perhaps. After the diplomatic agreement was signed, Earth began its most ambitious teaching program in history. Operation Catch-Up was launched to help bring the Alien Federation into the modern age of technology, though not everyone was convinced it was a good idea. Remember, Professor John Clark told his first class of alien students, "You've done something remarkable. You achieved space travel with technology we used in museums. Imagine what you'll do with proper tools." The first challenge was helping the aliens understand just how far behind they really were. When Clark showed them a standard Earth smartphone, one alien student accused him of performing magic. Another fainted when he demonstrated video calling, convinced he was somehow splitting his soul between devices. "No, look," Clark explained patiently to his wide-eyed class. "It's just basic quantum computing and photonic transmission. Actually, let's start with something simpler, like why you don't need to use steam engines in spaceships." The alien engineering teams were simultaneously horrified and fascinated when they learned that Earth had moved past combustion engines centuries ago. Their chief engineer spent 3 hours staring at a basic anti-gravity unit, muttering, "But where's the smoke? Where's the steam?" Teaching alien military officers proved especially entertaining. When Earth's instructors explained that most of Earth's defense systems were automated, one alien commander refused to believe it until a demonstration was arranged. A single defense satellite neutralized his entire practice fleet before he could even issue an order. "But how will we ever catch up?" the commander asked, watching his ships being towed back to base. "That's the beauty of it," his Earth instructor replied. "You don't have to reinvent everything. You just need to understand how it works. Think of it as skipping a few grades in school." The aliens proved to be excellent students once they got over their initial shock. Their scientists, freed from the limitations of their outdated theories, made remarkable progress. Within months, they had already begun redesigning their ships, though there was an awkward moment when one engineer tried to install a coffee maker powerful enough to run a small city. No, Clark had to explain. "We were joking about the coffee maker thing. Please don't actually try to power your ships with caffeine." The cultural education was just as important. Earth set up special centers to help the aliens understand the difference between entertainment and reality. The Movies Are Not Documentaries course became mandatory after an alien researcher spent a week trying to find Earth's secret dinosaur island. "You mean you don't actually have giant lizards in a park somewhere?" the researcher had asked, clearly disappointed. "No, but we can show you our actual genetic research facilities. They're far more interesting." The most successful program was the Technology Exchange Initiative. Earth would provide the aliens with modern technology, and in return, the aliens would share their unique approaches to space travel. Their methods might have been outdated, but they had developed some incredibly creative solutions to space navigation. "It's brilliant in its own way," admitted Dr. Wilson during a conference. "They crossed galaxies using technology we abandoned centuries ago. It's like someone building a working spacecraft out of bicycle parts, completely impractical, but you have to admire the ingenuity." There were some cultural hiccups along the way. The aliens had to be gently discouraged from adding unnecessary blinking lights to everything, because that's how Earth technology looks in the movies. Several alien engineers had to be reminded that making engine sounds with their mouths wasn't necessary for spacecraft operation. The biggest challenge was helping the aliens deal with their embarrassment over the war declaration incident. Earth solved this by including it in the curriculum as a lesson in the importance of proper research. "Look at it this way," Clark told a group of particularly mortified alien officials. Your mistake led to the greatest technological and cultural exchange program in known history. Plus, those memes are really funny. By the end of the first year, the Alien Federation had advanced more than they had in the previous century. Their ships were being retrofitted with modern technology, their cities were being rebuilt with new materials, and their people were finally learning to appreciate science fiction for what it was: fiction. As one alien student put it in their graduation speech, "We came to conquer Earth and instead discovered something far more valuable: the knowledge that we still have so much to learn." An unexpected side effect of the education program was the aliens' growing obsession with human entertainment. Once they understood that movies and TV shows were fictional, their fascination only grew stronger. The Federation's entertainment industry underwent a complete transformation. Their first major production was a comedy show called How Not to Invade Earth, starring the now famous former Supreme Commander Anderson himself. The show recreated their disastrous war declaration, with Anderson poking fun at his own mistakes. The episode where he discovered his impressive military uniform was actually based on a costume from a children's cartoon, became an instant hit across both civilizations. "I can't believe I wore that many medals," Anderson laughed during an interview. "I looked like a Christmas tree with legs." Earth's streaming services had to expand their servers to handle alien subscribers. The Federation citizens became particularly fond of cooking shows, though this led to some interesting misunderstandings. "No, you can't actually cook at those temperatures," Earth had to explain after several alien cooking show contestants tried to recreate Earth recipes using plasma reactors. "When we say heat until bubbling, we don't mean nuclear fusion." The aliens started producing their own versions of Earth's popular shows. Federation's Got Talent became a massive hit, especially the anti-gravity dance numbers. Their version of MasterChef had to be broadcast with a warning: "Do not attempt these recipes in a standard Star-Core oven." Comedy became the Federation's strongest genre. Their most popular show was a sitcom about a group of alien scientists watching Earth entertainment and misinterpreting everything they saw. The episode where they tried to build a lightsaber using plumbing supplies won several awards. "We learned to laugh at ourselves," explained the show's creator. "It's much better than our old entertainment, which was mostly documentaries about proper spaceship maintenance." Social media exploded with cross-cultural memes. Humans and aliens collaborated on parody videos of the war declaration, a remix version featuring Supreme Commander Anderson's speech, set to dance music and accompanied by clips of both species dancing, topped the charts in both civilizations for weeks. Earth celebrities found themselves with unexpected alien fan bases. One movie star was particularly confused when alien fans started showing up at events wearing tinfoil capes, until someone explained that they were recreating Anderson's original outfit. The Federation's fashion industry embraced Earth styles, though with some modifications. Their version of business suits included unnecessary blinking lights because they still couldn't quite shake their old ideas about how advanced technology should look. Earth fashion designers decided this was actually quite charming and started incorporating similar elements into their own collections. Even education was affected. Federation schools started teaching human studies, while Earth schools offered Federation history. Students from both civilizations particularly enjoyed the chapter about the Almost War, which was now taught as the Great Misunderstanding. Video games became another point of cultural exchange. The Federation developed a popular game called Earth Invasion Simulator, where players had to try invading Earth using outdated technology. The game's tagline was "See how far you get before someone laughs at you." Earth game developers responded with Federation Friends, where players helped upgrade alien technology while avoiding common misunderstandings. The minigame where you had to explain to aliens that Star Wars wasn't a documentary was particularly popular. Reality TV producers had a field day with the cultural exchange. Trading Places, Earth Federation Edition, became a hit show where families from each civilization switched homes for a month. The episode where an alien family discovered Earth's automated home systems was particularly memorable. "You mean the house doesn't need steam power?" the alien father had asked in amazement. "And the kitchen doesn't require a fusion reactor." The Federation's old war propaganda films were repurposed as comedy material. Their military training videos, which had warned about Earth's deadly death rays, actually just spotlights from a movie premiere, became popular party entertainment. By the end of the year, the cultural exchange had grown so extensive that it was sometimes hard to tell where Earth culture ended and Federation culture began. As one Federation entertainment critic noted, "We came looking for conquest and found something much better: good entertainment and better friends." Anderson, now a successful comedy star, summed it up best: "Sometimes the greatest victory comes from learning how to laugh at yourself. Also, I still have that cape if anyone wants it for their collection." 10 years after the Great Misunderstanding, both Earth and the Federation prepared for their most important holiday celebration. The day of the failed invasion attempt had become known as First Laugh Day, celebrated across both civilizations with parties, performances, and plenty of tinfoil caves. In New York's Central Park, humans and aliens gathered for the annual Declaration reenactment. Amateur actors from both species competed to give the most dramatic reading of Supreme Commander Anderson's original war speech. The winner this year was a human-alien duo who performed it as an interpretive dance while wearing matching sparkly uniforms. "Remember when we thought this would be the end of our civilization?" laughed former Supreme Commander Anderson, now the Federation's most popular entertainment star, addressing the crowd. "Now look at us. We can't even remember what we were so serious about." The traditional celebration included playing the original war declaration at exactly noon in every major city on Earth and all Federation worlds. People gathered in homes, parks, and celebration centers, counting down to the moment. As Supreme Commander Anderson's face appeared on screens everywhere, crowds recited the words along with him, adding their own comedic gestures. The Federation's capital city hosted the Outdated Technology Parade, where people marched with their favorite pieces of old equipment. The grand prize went to a group who had restored an original Federation warship, complete with its painted-on weapons and Christmas lights. They had added a disco ball to the command deck for historical accuracy. On Earth, the Federation Friendship Center opened its doors in Geneva. The massive complex, designed by architects from both civilizations, featured museums, research facilities, and a giant hologram of the U.S. Montana's terrifying parking lights display. This center, announced Earth's president during the opening ceremony, stands as a reminder that sometimes the best friendships start with a good laugh. The Federation's contribution to the celebration was the unveiling of the Galactic Misunderstanding Prevention Institute. Its first exhibit was a comprehensive collection of Earth science fiction movies, clearly labeled "Not Actual EVENTs" in large glowing letters. Children from both species participated in the traditional make-your-own-invasion craft sessions, creating spaceships out of cardboard boxes and decorating them with as many unnecessary blinking lights as possible. The parents' favorite activity was the Design Your Supreme Commander Outfit contest, where the goal was to fit as many fake medals as possible on one uniform. The scientific community celebrated with the Backward Technology Conference, where researchers presented papers on creative ways the Federation had achieved space travel with primitive technology. The keynote speech, "How to Cross Galaxies with Equipment from Your Garage," received a standing ovation. In orbit around Earth, the combined Earth Federation Space Fleet held its annual formation display. The Federation's ships, now equipped with modern technology, but still sporting their traditional decorative lights, for cultural reasons, performed a choreographed dance alongside Earth's vessels. The highlight was when they recreated the famous first encounter between the U.S. Montana and the Federation fleet, though this version included synchronized swimming movements. Social media exploded with the traditional sharing of first contact memes. The most popular was still the classic video of Supreme Commander Anderson discovering that Earth's most feared weapon was actually a coffee maker. The Federation's own social networks were filled with how it started versus how it's going posts, showing their old steam-powered ships next to their new advanced vessels. As evening fell across Earth and the Federation worlds, families gathered for the traditional viewing of the Great Misunderstanding documentary, now with added comedy commentary track. Children asked their parents to tell them again about the time aliens tried to invade Earth with spaceships held together by hope and duct tape. In his closing speech at the main celebration, Anderson, wearing a specially made shiny cape for old time's sake, summed up the decade of friendship. 10 years ago, we made the biggest mistake in our history. But being wrong turned out to be exactly right. We came looking for war and found family instead. Also, he added with a wink, we finally learned how to make proper coffee. The celebrations ended with a simultaneous galaxy-wide performance of the Invasion song, a pop hit that mixed the original war declaration with upbeat dance music. As fireworks lit up the skies of every world, humans and aliens danced together, all wearing their own tinfoil capes in tribute to how a terrible mistake had led to the greatest friendship in the galaxy.